Welcome on in, guys. Three Bowl takes yet again, and the start of the 2024 college football season is upon us. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. It is here. We have number 10 Florida State and Georgia Tech. That was a good Medea reference for those of you that know. Anyways, they're playing in Ireland, which is weird. However, I think it's kind of cool. What's even weirder to me is that it's an actual ACC conference game in Ireland. Obviously this Saturday at noon Eastern time. Florida State is a 10.5-point favorite, ranked 10th in the country coming into preseason, and the over-under is 55.5. Quinn, talk to me about this game.
Oh, look, man, 10.5 is a pretty good line. Georgia Tech last year kind of played this really fun role where they'd play someone they should beat and they would lose. They would play someone they should lose to and they'd win. For the most part throughout the year, they kept a lot of games competitive. But I think that's a reason why people might be taking the under on this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take Florida State. I got them by about 17. I do want to get this off my chest. Stop playing football games in Europe. Please. Just stop. That's not just college football. That's also to the NFL. Quit.
Well, we know why the NFL's doing it. I mean,
yeah, they're doing it for money, but I guess
they're also they want teams in Europe. That's the goal, is to have a world league. But I agree. It's an American sport. Keep it American.
Hey, other than that, though, I mean, Florida State, man. I don't see how you think Georgia Tech wins this game. I mean, maybe you could convince me they keep it close because it's week 1 and jet lag. But I'm going to take Florida State on the over.
Well, it's not even week 1, it's week 0. So let's get that right. I think that's the biggest thing here. And you're going overseas. You're playing the last game that we saw in Dublin was there one last year that I'm missing out on?
Nebraska, and who'd Nebraska play?
I believe it was Northwestern?
Yep,
yeah, that's it. I'm looking at.
Yeah, who won that game?
Northwestern won by 3. Yeah,
they did against Nebraska.
Ross led Nebraska Cornhuskers. But for me, Florida State, they lost a lot coming into this year. They lost a lot. And the last time we saw this team is when they got absolutely routed by Georgia. And if we have Florida State fans that would love to come into our comments and say, well, we had people sit out, we had people transfer, we had people getting ready for the draft, whatever your excuse may be, it's not good enough because Georgia had the same thing, if not more, for some of their best players in those games. So to absolutely get routed, you lost some of your best defensive product. I mean, Brandon Fisk, I absolutely love that guy. He was an animal last year. Lost him. You lose Jared Verse off the edge, which is huge. It's a huge loss on your defensive line. And so now you're coming to this game. And I'm not saying Georgia Tech's going to come in here and they're going to win a game, but I love what they do over there. They've changed from the triple option threat that they had just, 3-4 years ago. They're into a new era of Georgia Tech football. And so I think it's finally coming along. So I think it's going to be a lot better game than people expect. Because you're instituting a new offense as well with DJU coming in, your backup Rodemaker that played the last 2 to 3 games as the quarterback. Jordan Travis went with his leg injury. Rodemaker's out now. So DJU, it's him. He's in his 3rd program in 3 years, I believe it is. So he's having to learn on the go. And we're going to see how he gets tested against Georgia Tech. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I'm going to say a touchdown to Florida State.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me, these two teams. I've heard a lot of rumblings around the Twitter or X, as some people may call it, that the Florida State fans are going to do some sort of protest toward ESPN because they were left out of the college football playoff. Don't know if there's any validity to that, but heard some rumblings about that. So will the team be distracted considering what happened last year? We don't know. Whenever I look at this game, I look at returning production and what would be a team's weakness, right? So whenever you look at Florida State, obviously they have a new quarterback coming in, meaning there's probably going to be a new scheme of offense. Now, DJ is sort of, I don't want to say sort of like a Jordan Travis. I don't think he's as good as Jordan Travis was or will be at Florida State. However, it's not like you have to come in and completely change the entire offense for DJ. So I think that's a plus and a positive for Florida State. However, I still think their defense is going to be very, very good in week one. Now, typically within a season, your offense lags behind your defense, right? So it takes a little while for new offenses to come together. I think defense is a little bit easier to get together week one and perform, or in this case, week 0. But when you look at Georgia Tech, offense looks pretty similar to last year. Now, they overachieved last year, and I want to pause there because that could be Georgia Tech's kryptonite in this game, is overachieving last year, having too much hype coming into this game. They see the betting lines, which went from 14.5 to Florida State down to 10.5 in just a week. Like, they see these things. So how is that going to handle, how is that going to affect their mental game? I've got Florida State winning this game, but if my lock for this game is Georgia Tech and the points. I think it will be a tight game. At the 10.5, I could very easily see a 10-point win for Florida State. I think if Georgia Tech keeps it close heading into the end of the third quarter, we could be in for a nail-biter. So super excited for this game.
So just to get this clear, neither of you think that Florida State, the team, I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the program itself. You don't think they're going to take the disappointment of last year and turn that into production this year? Again, I'm not talking.
They should have done it in the bowl game.
Talking about. Well, I'm not going to hold that bowl performance again. I don't hold bowl games against anybody. That was last year.
I would agree if it wasn't the worst loss in bowl history. If they put up some sort of fight.
What?
If you take that away, it's not even that. It's Norvell's going to use that, I think. I think they've been focused on it all summer. But this is a totally different team.
Yeah.
Back's not there anymore. A lot of your weapons on offense, Keon Coleman, all those guys are in the NFL now. Your defensive products that just absolutely shut down Louisville in the ACC championship, those guys aren't there. And a lot of the guys you brought in, which is what Norvell is really great at, he's transformed that program through the transfer portal. Let's get it right. He's done a wonderful job for Florida State to bring them back to the brand image that they have. However, when you do it that way, those guys aren't fighting for a 63-3 loss from last year. That's not what they're doing in this game. They're just, this is my new season. We're going to go out and play as a team. I don't think they have that culture that want to. Now, if you would say Jordan Travis is coming back, Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk, Keon Coleman, those guys, yeah, for sure. But none of those guys are there anymore. So I wouldn't say so.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Regardless, we're all going to have the same record going into week one of prediction because we're across the board Florida State here.
Oh, that's right.
What if Georgia Tech upset?
I did kind of want to mention that. Would it not be the funniest thing that could happen is Florida State get beat after all the things last year? All the media coverage, like it would be the most embarrassing thing that would happen. And there's the thing, it's the only game on Saturday. Typically, if there's an upset, okay,
I heard that there is an FCS kickoff in Montgomery between the North Alabama Lions and the SEMO whatevers.
You don't even know their name.
It's Southeast Missouri State, by the way. They're the Red Hawks, I'm pretty sure.
Bam. Quinn's got it. Again, Quinn's football knowledge. But yes, if you don't want to watch Florida State get drunk.
But typically, though, if there's an upset, there's 4 or 5, 6, 7 other games that people talk about for the next week. This is it, really, that the talking heads are going to talk about.
I would say it's really, to me, though, it's not like it's that out of the realm of possibility. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was like 3 seasons ago that North Carolina opened up losing to Virginia in a big upset. And then last year, Clemson lost to Duke in week one, and what was a big upset at the time. So it's kind of a normal trend for the ACC to see a top favorite get upset right off the bat. It's not that out of the norms.
And what I'll say with it too is I'll give props to the ACC here because they're one of few conferences that build their schedule this way. With the first couple weeks, they're playing conference games.
I hate it.
A lot of other conferences aren't doing that. So right out of the gate, you're getting tested. And that's what I'm saying with Florida State. Now, Florida State's playing TCU or playing, UCF or something. It's different. But you're playing a conference opponent that y'all both dislike each other across seas week 0. Like that, it already matters. It already matters for your conference record for what you're going to do in the championship. So it matters already. It's not like, okay, I just lost to TCU. It's okay. No, this is, if I lose to Georgia Tech, I'm already down 0-1 in my conference record, and I got to climb back up out of this hole.
Yeah.
I'm kind of indifferent on the opening up with conference games. Like, I would rather it be that than open up with a Western Kentucky, personally. But, you do get those upsets that if they played again midway through the year, it wouldn't happen, right? Like, I don't think Duke would have beat Clemson if they played in week 8.
I personally would like to see weeks 1 through 3 be reserved for non-con games. And you do a mixture of everyone has to play a Power 4 game in those first 3. And you do some kind of mixture where you get good games on every single weekend, like P4 matchups on every weekend, and then start conference schedules in week 4. That I would like to see it done.
I wish you would be forced to play a P4 non-con game. I really do. But that's a different topic for a different day. Guys, this has been 3 Bold Takes, and we just talked about the Florida State-Georgia Tech game in week 0. Thanks you guys for watching. We will have predictions every single week for the biggest games moving forward. So stay tuned for that, and see you guys next week.